In my previous video, I recapped my history with Osu and how I had so many lows before I've had highs. Since the original path to a 6th digit, I haven't actually played all that much. However, I still wanted to improve. So, in the past few weeks, I've tried to sing many different maps, for example, Tsukinami. This map is nearly 5 minutes long at 180 BPM and has lots of bursts and jumps. Additionally, it's 4.97 stars, nearly 5 stars. Despite this, it isn't actually that hard. Throughout the map, there aren't any specifically hard sections that can end a good run. Thus, this map is one of the first jump consistency maps one can even attempt in the game. A fairly consistent player could have seen this with just some luck and good combo. But unfortunately, this wasn't the case for me. I've had over 100 attempts on this map and have tried to FC this basically since I've started playing. Additionally, my best attempt had pretty bad accuracy and I couldn't hold good combo consistently. To be honest, this actually caused me a fair amount of frustration that despite the amount of attempts I've put in, I couldn't set a monumental score on this map. Frankly, it really is undescribably frustrating seeing hours of your time being put into trying to FC this map just to fail to set a satisfying score on the map. So, once again, my boyfriend Dilemma did come to aid me. He told me that in order to be consistent at the level I wanted, I needed to go back and play 4 stars until I mastered the fundamentals, quote unquote. Or could have at least said 96 accuracy or better consistently on 4 stars. Despite knowing this would probably help me, I had refused to go through with it just because it seemed, well, boring. To be honest, the idea of spending so much time playing maps I couldn't even farm registered as a waste of time to me. Saying things like, I could be pushing my ape skills, or I could be grinding stamina were excuses I constantly made to avoid having to go back and play easy maps. That was until this week when I finally decided to listen to him. Out of desperation. I hated it. Actually, no. I highly disliked it. It was incredibly boring at first to just sit down for hours playing maps I had considered too easy for the level I was at. However, I did get to fix a lot of my scores with bad accuracy that I had set months ago, so I used any motivation I could get, such as fixing old scores and kept grinding 4 stars. I came up with a goal to play all my 4-star maps over the span of around a week, and then try to farm afterward to benchmark my skills. That way, I could at least keep my sanity by looking forward to my expected results. Even with all this planning though, they weren't very fun times. Plus, I actually did struggle with some harder 4-star maps that required high levels of reading or were just too low AR for me. Some maps also had finger control parts that I hadn't gone out of my way to master, which caused me to have C ranks on some really niche maps. Fuck you for shaking candy, you ruined my day. Overall, the mental discipline required to go through with this map was very taxing, but I pulled through. After a few days, I was actually starting to be able to set A ranks on all sorts of maps, easily too. This was actually really surprising, and it was a tiny bit of motivation that definitely let me keep pushing forward when I needed it. My boyfriend would constantly be telling me that I really was improving just as he thought I would, and honestly he was right. I could actually play slower maps and prevent missaves more often. I was actually getting a little hopeful. Despite that, I still was pretty bored while playing the maps, but I was nearing the end of my 4-star collection. Maybe just a day or 2 more and I would be done with replaying all my 4-star maps. However, I killed my hope before it could grow, because even though I felt better about my performance, I would have to wait until the day that I finished the grind to really see if that hard work was truly worth it. So, I prayed that tomorrow would go well as I played the last 4-star map in my OSU folder. And I ended up not playing the next day. Not that I've died or anything though, I just forgot to play Osu. Oops. The second day, after my grind had finished, I helped Onosu, prepared my tablet and grip, and focused. I had decided not to stress about my performance, but I was just a tiny bit hopeful. I played a few maps and felt surprisingly good. My aim was fairly consistent and my accuracy had definitely increased. Surprisingly, it felt casual too, like it wasn't even hard for me at all. So a thought popped into my head, to be specific, the name of a notorious song that I had tried so hard to see for months. I scrolled down my maps as my cursor hovered over Tsukinami. I looked at the local leaderboard, filled with B ranks and only a couple A ranks. I glanced at the individual scores and saw poor combos all around, but I wasn't demotivated. Instead, I pressed enter on my keyboard and began to play a song. I felt a mix of happiness and despair, but my excitement overcame all my emotions I felt. I had almost FC'd Tsukinami. For the first time in so many months and so many hours of trying, I had actually set a score far beyond what I thought was possible. My ag, my comp, and my score were all far better than any of the scores before it. Although my boyfriend was distraught at my poorly timed slider break, I couldn't feel disappointment anymore. I felt on top of the world. I had done the impossible. There are moments in a person's OSA career that they feel like they have defeated a beast they were never meant to topple. Like a mountain had just been climbed that nobody else had reached the summit of. Like you had destroyed a barrier that had walled you off from everything you could have been. Like all your hard work had truly paid off. In the realest sense, my OSA career, this was one of those moments. And I realized that this was still a start. Also, I got a really impressive score in printing, but